Good afternoon, everybody. Uneducated Economist here. So I had an email and I noticed a few comments of people asking me to talk about central bank digital currency and what I feel about central bank digital currency. I've done a few videos about it. We've talked about, some of the things that the Federal Reserve is doing as far as gearing up to get ready for a Fed account that everybody will hold, the Fed Now transactions, where this is going to be like a digital ledger system for doing transactions to replace the SWIFT. The central bank digital currency, in my opinion, has more to do with negative interest rates than it does anything else. That's my opinion on it. A lot of people are talking about how this whole central bank digital currency will be able to track, trace, tax, do all that other stuff. I mean, be a very I don't know how else to say it without sounding like it's a big brother thing coming down to haunt you kind of thing, because that's the way most people who understand the system kind of look at it. And I try and take a view that this is going to be a normal thing, because it's really leading to that. And if you fight it, it's not going to, everybody can fight it. If they all understood and stood up together and says, we are not accepting this, we are not going to participate in the system, well, then they wouldn't have a chance. But that's not what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is that it's going to transition into a digital system, and you won't even realize it's taking place. It's happening right now, and most people have no idea that blockchain or of anything else that exists around a digital ledger system, cryptocurrencies, anything that has to do with that distributed ledger system or the digital coins or anything like that, the majority of the people have no clue. But yet it's taken place and they're involved in it. Okay. So at the end of the day, when this thing is instituted, right, and in full effect, most people really won't even know that it happened. Okay. It'll just transition over to that, and people will be like, oh, that's the way they do things. They didn't realize that it was taking place. And ultimately, all those scary things that it can do, like, track every single thing that you purchase, every dime that you make, every person that you have ever interacted with as far as a transaction goes. There will be no anonymity. You'll be like, everything will be transparent to the Federal Reserve as far as money goes in the flow of it, and where it's, everything like that. But in my opinion, it's not so much about like this tracking and doing all that of the people, because they can ultimately do that anyway. I would like reading that article talking about how in Sweden there's a demographic of people from 18 to 34. There's a chunk of those who have never used cash ever. That's amazing to me. Even here, the cash transactions are all small. Like, they're usually, most people aren't spending more than, say, $50 with cash. And now there is a lot of cash transactions, but the majority of it is either accounts, because they have an in-house account, or they're using a credit card or debit card. That's the majority of the transactions that we do. And even this NPR article that I have found, where it was an opinion piece where the guy was, or it might have been a female, I didn't get the name, but the author was saying that we should get rid of $100 bills. Well, I'm thinking already we're having a hard time dealing with the change, although that seems to kind of been relieved a little bit. But if you have taken out all the lower denomination coins, making it difficult to do like small transactions, and you take out the big bills as well, making it, kind of forcing you to do the smaller transactions, which are already difficult, then people are just going to naturally just kind of step away from cash. And so that's the whole point of the in my opinion, of the digital ledger systems, or the central bank digital currencies, is to get people away from the use of cash. Because the reason is that at some point, in order to stimulate this economy, they're going to have to do something with interest rates, and that's probably go negative with them. Right now they're going to go and let the government go into as much deficit spending as they can possibly get. I mean, they're saying that pretty much it is up to the government in order to make sure that this economy continues to go into the recovery. I'm not sure exactly what to think, because I think we're still headed for a crash. So, the Federal Reserve is like, hey, we're kind of pretty much out of bullets. I mean, we'll accommodate all the debt that you want to take out, but it's going to be up to you to spend this money to get this economy up and rolling again. Okay, so the Federal Reserve is pretty much putting it on the government's hands, and they're going to facilitate that ability. Well, here's the thing. That debt is going to be incredible. I mean, it's going to be so much that the United States cannot possibly take on any more debt. The people out there are not going to be willing to do it. The Federal Reserve is going to be the only buyer of the United States debt, which is just going to make the problem even worse. And so what they are going to have to do is lower the interest rates into negative territory so that the United States doesn't pay back as much as what they've borrowed, which doesn't make sense anyway. Okay, I mean, just saying that doesn't, it doesn't compute, right? It's counterintuitive. But there's no way that they can institute this negative interest rate so long as people have cash in the system, because what they will do is they will just pull all their wealth, every dollar that they have, they will just pull it out in cash. And if they do that, then the whole system won't work. They have to leave their money in the system. Okay? And what they really want to do is put it down to a point that the people do not want to leave it in there, they want to spend it. And if they have no other choice but to either leave it in the banking system, which is going to have a negative interest rate to it, or go out there and spend it, the people's mentality is go out there and spend it, or invest it, or do something with it, but don't leave it in the banking system where it can sit there and keep the money velocity from moving. So that's my opinion on the central bank digital currency. That's why I think they want to do it, is because if they can get a central bank digital currency out there where everybody is now in a cashless society using central bank digital currency for all transactions and just no coins or cash available, then they can take interest rates into negative territory and there's nothing you can do about it. Unless you're sitting in gold and silver or stocks or real estate or something else. But you won't have any of the choice. Your money in the banking system will deteriorate. If you leave it there, it'll force you to spend it. And if you can't take cash, you can't secure your wealth, So that's what I feel about central bank digital currencies. Okay, I got to go back into work. Uneducated Economist, you guys let me know.